The Hoosier face of the Soviet crisis, next on this Tuesday, August 20th.
Live from the heart of Indiana, this is NewsCenter 13 at 6 o'clock with Tom Cochrun and Ryder, Bob Gregory's exclusive AccuWeather, and Don Hein Sports. The news starts now.
Gunfire erupts in the streets of Moscow. It is early in the morning. A curfew is in effect, but there is hardly a sense of calm.
The gunfire is punctuating a classic standoff underway outside the Parliament building. But will the coming hours bring a violent clash or the disintegration of the coup?
There are signs of both in the Moscow dark.
Our top story tonight, key developments in the Soviet Union. Boris Yeltsin is inside what they call the Moscow White House, bracing for possible violence. There is some gunfire near the Parliament building, and there are apparently some injuries and as many as 2 reported deaths on the street. As many as 100 Army tanks are said to be moving in that direction. 3 key members of the 8-member ruling committee have reportedly stepped down. The Prime Minister and Defense Minister cite poor health. The head of the KGB has reportedly quit. This is lending credence to theories the coup core base is crumbling. And the deputy mayor of Moscow says Mikhail Gorbachev was arrested Monday at his vacation home in Crimea as he prepared to board a flight to Moscow. Other reports say Gorbachev is not in ill health. In Moscow tonight, some injuries from isolated gunshots coming from just beyond the barricades Yeltsin supporters built. Earlier, Yeltsin rewarded followers by speaking to them from a platform on the building. Yeltsin is also in touch with world leaders.
And I told him that we respect you. You've been duly elected here. We pray for you, and we hope that you're successful.
Yeltsin is attempting to communicate to the people of the USSR through shortwave radio. The loyalty of the Soviet military to the new ruling committee is still in question, even as the army cracks down on the republics. There were huge pro-Yeltsin demonstrations in several republics. President Bush has sworn in and sent to Moscow the new U.S. ambassador to the Soviet Union. Bush is monitoring developments from his Kennebunkport vacation home.
Tonight, the city of Kokomo very closely watches the latest developments in the Soviet story. Kokomo's Mayor Robert Sargent and Police Chief Lynn Rudolph are visiting a town some 500 miles, which is east of Moscow. Their visit comes as new chapters in the Soviet crisis quickly unfold. The 2 Indiana officials went to the Soviet Union to discuss economics and gang problems with experts there. But Virginia Rudolph, the wife of Kokomo's police chief, has not been able to talk with her husband since the coup began. Efforts to get information from the United States Department of State hotline have failed. She tells the NewsCenter's Jane Harrington this is a frustrating time.
Frustrating, but I expected that. And I didn't get all that upset about it, but I assumed that's the way it was going to be. I'm really not sure they can tell me what their welfare is. I don't think they specifically know that my husband and the mayor are there. I don't think they would have gone if they thought that if the State Department or they were telling people that it really looks like something's happening here and you better not be any travel to Russia. Because, of course, that was the last thing that we expected.
The NewsCenter's David McAnally is in Kokomo at this hour. He'll have more on the city's reaction and concern on prime time at 10 o'clock tonight. Several professors from Indiana colleges and universities are also in the Soviet Union. Indiana University professor Darrell Hammer called his wife from Moscow to tell her that he is safe and plans to stay there through the end of the month. Professor Kenneth Armstrong of Anderson College arrived in Moscow Sunday. He is leading a group from the Christian College Coalition. It is unclear whether Armstrong has phoned home. Ann?
Indiana Senator Dan Coates is not ruling out his plans to travel to the Soviet Union. A spokesman says Coates is flying to London tonight. From there, he will assess the situation in Moscow before deciding whether to fly on there on Saturday. If you are concerned about relatives traveling in the Soviet Union, the State Department has set up 2 numbers for you to call. They're on the screen, 202-647-5225 or 202-647-0900. Indiana Congressman Dan Burton is calling the new regime in Moscow, and we quote, a bunch of hardliners with Stalinist tendencies. The Republican congressman was in Tipton County talking with farmers concerned about how federal wetland regulation affects their land. But Burton also addressed the crisis in the Soviet Union, saying the new government may have to take drastic measures to stifle opposition.
I'm very fearful that Boris Yeltsin will either be arrested or assassinated in the next 2, 3, 4 days. And I think if it hasn't already happened, that there may be an attack on the Russian Republic government headquarters there.
Burton discounts theories that Mikhail Gorbachev is secretly behind the coup. Burton says Gorbachev will disappear into obscurity as Khrushchev did nearly 30 years ago.
With us now to more closely examine the events in the Soviet Union is Dr. David Mason, head of the Department of Political Science at Butler University. Dr. Mason, with reports that Yazov of the Army, Minister Pavlov, and perhaps Khrushchev of the KGB are out, even though they are unconfirmed reports, it seems the coup is in disarray. What do you make of it? What might it mean?
Well, I think that the coup attempt had some serious flaws from the beginning. I was suggesting yesterday that this might not succeed because of the enormous obstacles that the efforts of the coup to win power. The fact that this group that has formed this committee has falling apart now seems also to suggest that maybe there are more problems that they hadn't thought of before. But I think really the biggest problem that they didn't foresee, or at least they didn't preempt ahead of time, was to take care of Boris Yeltsin.
Let me ask you, discuss the political cut of ordering Soviet troops against Yeltsin and his people.
Well, this is going to be a win-or-lose thing, I think, for the coup effort. It seems to me tonight, in fact, may be a decisive turning point. If these tanks do move on the Parliament building where Yeltsin is holed up, and if they succeed in taking him, that could be the end of the democratic reforms in the Soviet Union.
In about 30 seconds, what will it take for the reformers to win? Can they simply by holding out?
I think they can win simply by holding out, yes. I think there's too many long-term obstacles for this coup effort to succeed without winning more support throughout the country.
In that sense, time is on their side if they can simply tough it out.
I think that's the case.
Okay. Dr. David Mason, thank you very much for joining us this evening from the News Center. Ann?
The Soviet people can scarcely afford the crisis underway there tonight. The Soviet economy is in a crisis of its own, bound to worsen. News Center 13's Glendale Jones put some perspective on it. She is live inside a downtown Indianapolis food store. Glendale?
Good evening, Ann. I'm at the O'Malley Food Market, and a market such as this one is not common at all in the Soviet Union. As a matter of fact, the people over there shopping for normalcy isn't common either.
The scene is familiar to us. Grocery shopping. Walk in, get what you want, go home.
About 4 whole legs, chicken legs.
It's a scene you won't see played out in the Soviet Union so easily. Already, before the latest developments, things were bad. Now,
life is difficult. It can be very difficult. It can be impossible to go out your door and find a bar of soap or laundry detergent.
Scott Seregny is a Soviet-Russian history associate professor at IUPUI. He adds things haven't been this bad since World War II.
There's really nothing in the stores. Life is very difficult.
Difficult indeed. These pictures tell the story. Seregny says there's fear the next harvest won't be good. There's frustration already. For example, what used to cost about 15 cents, say, for a loaf of bread has tripled, even quadrupled in price.
And you have to remember, Russians are used to almost no inflation whatsoever. And for them, that's very frightening. So shortages and inflation at the same time. And it's really difficult to find food and consumer goods.
Food and consumer goods many of us take for granted. As far as the Soviet economic picture is concerned, Seregny says things can't get much worse, saying the long-term answer, have a mixed economy.
Now, Seregny also tells me that mixed economy could include the private agriculture sector, the private businesses or industries, something that would help the economy get back on its feet, something that would help the Soviet people shop with some type of normalcy, something they haven't done for an awfully long time. Ann?
They're a long way from that now.
Yeah.
Tom?
Positive note today, the Dow on Wall Street closed up 15 points. The Kremlin coup could have a direct impact on Indiana business. For example, there is concern that trade opportunities could be put on hold for Hoosier companies like Allison Transmission and Speedway. State officials remain confident, though, the Soviet Union will not break off business ties in Indiana.
As the developments in the Soviet Union continue to unfold, we are opening our exclusive pulse survey with the question, do you think ousted Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev will return to power? You can answer yes or no on your touch-tone phone by calling 239-1013. We'll have the results later tonight on News Center 13 at 10 o'clock.
Just ahead on the News Center at 6 o'clock, the story of a Castleton woman raped and shot twice. She manages to call 911. It is a call that probably saved her life. Also tonight...
I guess the money didn't matter to me because we got the banner, and that's what we worked for.
Tonight's Hoosier hero, whose hard work paid off at the state fair. You'll meet her.
In 1987, consumers rated H.H. Gregg the #1 appliance and electronics store in town. You did it again this year with another overwhelming response. In all these categories, you rated H.H. Gregg #1 again. In this raucous world of hype and hoopla, hollow claims are one thing. The people's choice is quite another. Thank you for rating H.H. Gregg #1 again. Our commitment is to never lose your confidence.
Hi again, everyone. Don Hein here. This man will get a $3 million bonus for signing his contract. Wait till you hear for how much. On Sports.
From the moment you've been injured in an accident, time works against you. Without an experienced law firm, you'll be forced to deal with complicated paperwork and possibly rushed into a settlement before you know the full extent of your injury. At our law firm, we'll make sure you're treated fairly.
Hey, mister, got a name?
This summer, heat up, cool off, and hold tight with Harley Davidson and Marlboro.
Amen.
Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Stay on my tail.
No problem.
Rated R.
Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
You can see the music.
Taco Bell got rock hard cuts, yeah.
Free when you buy a 32-ounce cup. It's designed from a music master.
Don't forget, your free fill-ups.
Collect all 5
free rock hard cups.
Run for the border.
A Northeast Side woman is alive tonight after being raped and shot overnight.
Police say the woman probably saved her life by pretending that she was dead. Mark Spain has her heroic tale.
At the Lake Castleton Apartments today,
Scared, really scared.
21-year-old Rodney Cook is under arrest for attacking a 32-year-old woman in this apartment building. Cook lived downstairs, the victim upstairs. Police say Cook approached the woman in the hall and asked to borrow salt and pepper. When she agreed, he followed her up to her apartment and shot her.
He was armed with a .38 caliber handgun. He pulled the weapon. According to him, the weapon accidentally discharged, striking her in the chest.
Afterwards, the victim told police Cook forced her into the bedroom and raped her.
At which time he panicked and shot the young lady a second time and then fled downstairs to his apartment.
Police say that after the woman was shot, she played dead until Cook left. Moments later, they both called for help. Suffering from 2 bullet wounds, the victim managed to get to her phone.
Who shot you? A rapist. Okay, where are you at now? Okay, let's get you an ambulance on the way.
With police en route, another call comes in, this one from the suspect.
I heard some gunfire going on not too long ago, and I walked in my apartment, you know, and I found my gun wasn't here, so I don't know what's going on.
The victim identified Cook as her attacker. He was picked up in his apartment. Mark Spain, NewsCenter 13.
Cook is charged with criminal confinement, deviant conduct, sexual battery, attempted murder, and rape. The woman is listed in serious condition at Methodist Hospital tonight. Mary Wright's future is closer to being resolved. Her attorney, Jacob Atanga, filed paperwork in court today asking Judge Webster Brewer to modify her sentence. Wright escaped from the Indiana Women's Prison in 1969 after serving 41 days. She was serving a sentence for assault and battery. No hearing date on the latest motion has been set.
One Hoosier teenager is going back to school with a pocket full of ribbons. She's a 4-H'er whose hard work and dedication at the State Fair has paid off in more ways than one. Susan Parks with tonight's Hoosier Hero.
This is Jennifer Barker's first time in the center ring. Her grand champion steer is on the auction block and creating a bidding frenzy. The sleek black hide and obvious muscle tone of this animal is forcing the choosiest livestock buyers in the state to reevaluate their strategy. First, $4,500, then $6,000, and finally...
So the grand champion's here for $7,500, $131.
The money didn't matter to me because we got the banner, and that's what we worked for.
Jennifer's hard work and dedication is what's helped her get to this point. She's a fine example of the 4-H pride, especially when you consider what she plans to do with all of her winnings.
I plan to use it to continue my project in the last 2 years of 4-H and use it for my education afterwards.
and Parks, NewsCenter 13.
35 of the fair's best animals were put up for auction over the weekend.
The push to bring a major airline hub to Indianapolis took off today.
We'll take you to the airport where some Top Guns were looking over what may become a work site for 7,000 people, plus Bob's weather.
This is the Mazda Summer Savings Express. Get a Mazda 626 sedan. Get Mazda Value Pack savings, plus your choice of $1,000 cash back from Mazda or 5.9% financing through Mazda American Credit. Grab these savings while you can. They're moving.
The Mazda Summer Savings Express. At Speedway Mazda, Tom Roush Mazda, and Tom Wood Mazda now.
Bob, what's that glowing in the dark?
Oh, you mean my village pantry sea creature cup, Tom?
No, I mean that sea creature.
Got anything good to drink?
Your choice of 12 fountain drinks at Village Pantry.
With an 89-cent drink, you get a free cup to glow.
Got a glow now.
Bob? Bob?
On May 13th, 1800, at the young age of 27, William Henry Harrison, a native of Virginia and a former Army officer, was named governor of the young Indiana Territory. Harrison and 3 judges appointed by President John Adams had absolute power over the vast frontier. They ruled Indiana from this simple 2-story frame building located in the territorial capital of Vincennes. His 12 years in office were filled with strife as he had to contend with settlers' calls to quicken the pace for statehood and Indian tribes angry at the taking of their land. In the end, Harrison set the Indiana Territory on its path to eventual statehood in 1816. Reflecting on 175 years of Indiana statehood, I'm Ann Ryder.
Images of Indiana is presented to you by Farm Bureau Insurance. We salute Indiana on its 175th birthday. Weather watchers across Indiana are members of Bob Gregory's AccuWeather team, which carries the AMS seal of approval.
I brought my umbrella, but I haven't needed it yet.
No, and you won't for a while anyway. We're going to need it for shade more than precipitation anyway. Northerly winds most of the day brought us more clouds than sunshine. Boy, the pollen count, though, the highest so far for the season, if you didn't catch that with a 101 reading. That's enough to kind of make anybody's nose twitch there just a bit. The nose on this one belongs to the old potbelly pig out there. And we're maybe trying to communicate there a little bit. Anyway, I'm told that these animals are easy to care for, even make good pets. But since it likes warm weather, probably California would be the good place to have that for a house pet, I think. A little closer to home, almost looks like some California haze out there, but that's it. Partly cloudy, 75 at the airport, 78 here. As far as the humidity is concerned, 45%. Winds out of the north at 4. Barometer, that's falling again now at 29.99. Now, as you look along the East Coast, showers out ahead of a front, and then not associated with Bob, but that upper-level storm that brought all the rain here, brought some showers and thunderstorms to parts of Pennsylvania, heavy amounts of rainfall there, and even some cold air funnels that briefly touched down in Kings Island. Farther out in the Plain States, some scattered showers and thunderstorms, a watch area out for this area now until midnight tonight. What's going to happen is this portion of the front will just dissipate. The warm front, the jet stream, will continue to move this stuff pretty much straight out to the east. And as that happens, high pressure is going to settle over us overnight, and with it, some of the coldest air of the season will be in prospect for us. After some lows in the mid-50s in the morning, here's our situation for tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures for the most part very close to our normal 83, so that's not too bad. Forecast, we'll have some partly cloudy skies around early, and then clearing later on after the sun sets. Our overnight low coming in at 56 degrees. Our winds, tomorrow, partly sunny in the afternoon, high 83. Winds will become southerly then, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Partly cloudy tomorrow night, 62 the low. On Thursday, a mixture of clouds and sunshine with an 87-degree high. Not out of the question, a chance anyway of a thunder shower late Thursday and or Friday. Then we turn the furnace on once again. 90s over the weekend. As a matter of fact, the computer says next week temperatures will trend much above the normal for us. So don't put the tennies or toga or short sleeve shirt away just yet. Okay?
See you later. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks. A team of technical staffers from United Airlines is in Indianapolis tonight looking over a site for a new maintenance center United wants to build. City officials say Indianapolis is among 3 or 4 cities nationwide on a short list for the facility. It would employ 7,000 people with salaries ranging from $30,000 to $50,000. No word yet on how soon United will announce a decision. It would take about 3 years to build that facility. Among the other cities believed to be on the short list are Oklahoma City, Denver, and Washington, D.C.
Don Hein is up next with a preview of the Colts-Eagles match.
And they have their work cut out for them. How do you stop the NFL's most productive quarterback? Our sports team looks into it.
GTE presents the legends of the game, like Palmer, Trevino, and Chi-Chi. Broadmoor Country Club. Tickets at Marsh.
Spa Wars, recognized by the IBJ as having established a dominance in the Indiana spa and whirlpool market, Royal Spa of Indianapolis has vowed to rid the galaxy of high prices. Spas, whirlpool baths, swim spas, and saunas, Royal Spa wages battle with supreme quality and service. Plus, we manufacture our own spas to pass the factory direct savings on to you. With spas starting at $14.95, we're taking aim at destroying our competitors' best deal. Don't be forced to take a bath. Win the Spa Wars today at Royal Spa.
We're the guys. There ain't a pizza made we can't handle because we're the guys. Yeah. 2 Supremes?
How about Super Supreme?
We're the Super Supreme guys.
Now a Supreme Pizza is $8.99 and a second's just $4 more. Or make them Super Supremes with 3 more toppings for an extra $1.
We're the guys. We're the guys.
It must be a guy thing.
Pizza Hut, making it great.
Visit participating Pizza Hut restaurants and enjoy hot, delicious breadsticks with your favorite pizza.
Claire has a new project.
I have something for you.
What is it?
Shell.
Oh, no.
This is a do-it-yourself kit from France. This is what you've been wanting for your office.
These instructions are in French.
Okay, well, then you translate it.
Posez, Modrier, soil un chevalet.
Whoa, what's that mean?
Put your mother on a horse.
Tuesday on The Cosby Show.
It's your Chrysler Plymouth dealer's big year-end clearance. You want a great deal, right? Yeah! Peterson, check out that Acclaim. Hurry in and get that $1,000 cash back. Hey, Bakers, look at Grand Voyager. Over $2,000 in savings. Your name's all over it. Hey, Louis, you see that Sundance America? You could drive it out of here for only $139 a month. Hurry in and take advantage of year-end clearance deals. Rediscover all the great American values at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer. Yeah!
NewsCenter 13 at 6 o'clock is broadcast live on great radio stations like WHBU in Anderson.
Time to get some information now from the NFL.
Good luck to Don.
Yes.
How you doing? How you doing tonight? Well, Dan Marino, the Dolphins quarterback, has just become the highest-paid professional football player in the universe. A contract extension gives him $25 million over 6 years. He gets $3 million as a signing bonus and $4.4 for each of the next 5 years. Joe Montana slips to a crummy second at $3.5 million per. Well, last Saturday night, the Colts showed us they could generate some offense against the veteran New Orleans Saints. Their mission this Friday night in Philadelphia, should they choose to accept it, is to stop Randall Cunningham. Yes, from running all over the world. Linebacker Dwayne Bickett said, I think we can get it done.
When you see an offense like this that has good, solid linemen, multiple type formations, you get to look at everything. So you get a broad scope of your defense as opposed to a team that might just line up and run at you every down. These guys will give you everything, and I think it's a great final test for us to go into the regular season.
Keith Jackson there, 88. You can see the Colts and Eagles at 6:30 this Friday night here on 13. Now the San Francisco 49ers lose little when Steve Young replaces Joe Montana. In fact, may get a bit more mobility. That's a 47-yard quarterback draw against the Chargers last night. Here is the lovely Vance Johnson standing this one out for Denver. He wasn't needed as John Elway had all the Ricky Nattiel he needed, plus 2 Greg Lewis rushing TDs, Denver over Miami. It would not, I repeat, for the 3rd time, be a state fair without harness racing, and Ronnie has that here.
special time here at the State Fair as fans come out just to see their horses. Yes, from the trotters to the sprinters, it doesn't make a difference. Harness racing is still one of the #1 sports in Indiana.
Well, it's very exciting. You don't know who's going to win. The best horse may get beat. You never know who's going to win. Well, the fastest horse wins. That's what I like.
How'd you do today?
Well, not bad. I picked quite a few winners.
Yes, it's harness racing, one of the oldest sports here in Indiana. And for those who've been following it for a long time, it's the best. And like the gentleman says, it's easy. All you got to do is pick a winner. Rodney Duncan, NewsCenter 13 Sports.
From harness racing to in the harness of basketball, Patrick Ewing will, after all, play for the U.S. Olympic team in Barcelona. He had initially said that he'd not be available. That was before the Pan Am team was waxed by Puerto Rico. Magic said yes, too. Uncommitted are Pippen, Bird, Robinson, Barkley, Malone, Stockton, and Mullen. That'll be my team next year in the NBA.
Yes.
That group just mentioned.
We have more after this.
A summer morning in Indiana never looked prettier. These are the days that reflect our finest rural traditions, working and living close to the land. It's State Fair time, and H.H. Gregg is celebrating too, with prices that reflect honest-to-goodness values. With this large capacity Maytag washer with special fabric softener dispenser, just $4.29. And this dependable Maytag electric dryer, now just $3.69. Shop Gregg's State Fair Day sale today. The values are another Hoosier tradition.
Food reporter Bert Wolf for New Crisco oil.
Not easy. The Surgeon General wants us to eat healthier, but your family just wants you to cook the foods they love. So what do? Here's news. A new Crisco oil with less saturated fat for when you cook the foods they love. For less saturated fat, the new Crisco oil beats these popular oils, beats olive oil, even beats corn oil. Now here's a favorite at my house, fried chicken. It's made without the skin, which is extra fat, and there's no greasy taste. This chicken is crispy outside, juicy inside, made with a new Crisco oil with less saturated fat. What else could you ask for? Second piece? New Crisco oil, because you're cooking for your family.
Were these your drugs?
Look, Dad, it's
Where
not
did you get it?
Dad,
Answer me. Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
Parents who use drugs have children who use drugs.
2.9%. I repeat, 2.9%. Your local Ford dealer announces low 2.9% financing for 48 months on 1991 Ford Escort. That's 2.9% financing for 48 months on the Ford Escort LX, the sporty Escort GT, or the roomy Escort Wagon. Test drive the best-selling car of the 80s, completely redesigned for the 90s, and get low 2.9% financing. Only at your local Ford dealer and only for a limited time. Hurry!
Something extraordinary to tell you about now. For the first time in 50 years, Peru's Hall of Fame circus will roll up its bag of tricks and hit the road. The circus leaves its winter quarters in Peru for an 8-city tour, which begins Saturday in Muncie. Indianapolis and Kokomo are also on the tour. The Hall of Fame circus performs in a one-ring tent, which seats about 1,600, giving spectators an intimate view of the action.
The public gets a chance to speak out on the IPS proposed spending plan tonight. The $334 million budget was presented at the August 6th IPS board meeting. Under that proposal, the tax rate is projected to increase to $5.63. That represents an increase of around $80 for most taxpayers. That meeting gets underway at 7. We'll have Kevin Ryder covering that for 10 o'clock tonight.
That is going to do it for NewsCenter 13 at 6 o'clock.
We'll be watching for you back here tonight at 10 o'clock. Enjoy your evening. NBC will air a special at 11:35 on the Soviet crisis, and we will have the latest for you in our newscast on Primetime.
See you later.